Here's a fact for you. Did you know it costs only $120 to ship an aborted baby's brain using FedEx priority overnight? You do now. One of the most wild and shocking trials involving abortion and First Amendment rights is taking place right now in California. The testimonies have been disturbing, and the repercussions of this case could be devastating. It could also be a huge win for the pro-life movement, but chances are you've never heard about it. Democrats and the media won't touch the case because it shines a light on the practices of the dark, gruesome abortion industry. But the fact is, Planned Parenthood employees were caught on tape breaking federal laws which prohibit the sale of fetal tissue for profit. But Planned Parenthood isn't being prosecuted. Citizen journalists David Daleiden and Sandra Merritt have been forced to defend themselves against 15 felony counts in the California lawsuit. How could this be, you ask? Kamala Harris was state attorney general at the time and launched an investigation not into the trafficking of aborted baby body parts, but into the citizen journalists who exposed it. I'm David Fiorazzo, and this is Christ and Culture. Many of us see this as a moral issue. The left sees this as a political issue. Kamala Harris has received over $80,000 in contributions from Planned Parenthood. Obviously politically driven, Obama administration Attorney General Loretta Lynch initiated the prosecution of those who had the audacity to defend life. If not for undercover journalists, how else would the truth come out? But Planned Parenthood always fights, denying allegations, covering up evidence, buying people off, and using their power and influence over the Democrat Party, who controls the media. Harris personally met with executives from Planned Parenthood in 2016 and ordered a search warrant to steal David Daleiden's videos and documents. California law protects citizen journalists, but the raid was carried out anyway. The lead investigator under Kamala Harris testified that he did not examine the evidence, but was simply doing what he was instructed to do by the Attorney General's office. You can just smell the corruption here. Now, Madeline Osborne at The Federalist writes about the case, quote, cross-examination of witnesses, abortionists, and investigators revealed not just admissions of the violent crimes Daleiden set out to expose with his undercover videos, but that this is just a textbook example of corporate donors and corrupt politicians ignoring civil liberties and using their power to prey upon political opponents. Now, I'm not sure what's more disappointing here. The fact that for years, Planned Parenthood has been harvesting and selling the body parts of aborted babies and shipping them out to the highest bidder for research, or the fact that when the United States Senate published an extensive 500-page report 2 years ago exposing the abortion giant for criminal activity, the media collectively yawned and ignored the breaking story. In 2015, the Center for Medical Progress, CMP, released shocking undercover video exposing Planned Parenthood's ghoulish practice of selling the body parts of aborted fetuses for medical research. David Daleiden and Sandra Merritt recorded public conversations in restaurants with Planned Parenthood employees where they haggled over the prices and methods by which the tissue would be harvested. They exposed illegal activity between Planned Parenthood and STEM Express, which is a human tissue procurement business. What's also shocking is hundreds, if not thousands of Americans are part of these transactions. Companies had contracts with Planned Parenthood and other abortion businesses to acquire specific body parts. Now, the initial reaction from Planned Parenthood and other abortion advocates was, of course, denial. They went to the LAPD and filed a complaint, but there was nothing illegal about recording public conversations. They did it in a restaurant. Then they claimed the videos were edited. Now, evidence and court testimony proves they were not edited, but the media had their marching orders to defend abortion, so they continue reporting the lies of the left, which most people still believe 4 years later. Just a few things uncovered in the court proceedings recently include the CEO of STEM Express acknowledged that her company supplies beating fetal hearts and intact fetal heads to medical researchers. When the CEO of STEM Express was asked about the head of a baby being attached to the body upon tissue procurement, she said the photos from the Center for Medical Progress are accurate and show that the heads are sometimes attached and sometimes they're not attached. A Planned Parenthood abortionist, who is not a doctor, testified that she provided fetal tissue from the abortions she did at Planned Parenthood as a regular occurrence, and that she had heard of money being exchanged with STEM Express in some cases. It's also quite bizarre that the state's witnesses have testified under oath that they were being paid by Planned Parenthood, and they received questions in advance of the trial. California law protects animal rights activists, right? So they can go undercover and film slaughterhouses, for example. We'll see if the law also protects right to life advocates. According to Live Action, David Daleiden also testified that he saw a Stanford University publication citing STEM Express as the provider of fetal hearts for their study. Daleiden spoke with experts who informed him that the fetus would have to be alive at the time the organs were harvested. He came away with the understanding that it required a live, beating heart. This disturbing research used a technique that is meant to be used on animal hearts. The method was, quote, designed to keep fluid pumping through a heart that has been cut out of a body, end quote. That's what Daleiden explained under oath. In this case, it was used on living human fetal hearts. Yes, you heard that correctly, living fetal human hearts. So right now you have a choice to do what so-called journalists in America refuse to do: share the facts and report to the public. For years now, more truth about Planned Parenthood has been exposed, much of it quite horrific, to the point that in any other context, media outlets would be all over it. Other than Fox News, they're ignoring this trial because Planned Parenthood has incredible power, political influence, and tremendous resources, thanks in part to American taxpayers, the Democrat Party, and income from over 325,000 abortions a year. Americans deserve to know the full story. God bless you, and keep speaking the truth about things that matter.